Hi, my name is Ryan, and in this video let's create the simple menu items hover effect in HTML and CSS. Here in my HTML file I have a nav element, and within this nav element I have added a UL, and inside this UL I have a few anchor tags which are going to form the menu items, and that's all I need for the HTML. Now let's go to a CSS file. Here I've added a few styles. First I've removed the default margin and the padding, and I've also added a few styles to the body. Next, let's start styling the anchor tags. First, I'll set a display to block, and now in order to get them back in the same line, I'll target the UL and I'll set it display to flex. Next, let's give some padding to the anchors. Let's say of 10 pixel, and let's also add a margin of 0 to the top and bottom, 20 to the left and right, and let's set the text transform to uppercase, and let's remove the underline, and finally let's give it a color of white. Now it's time to add the hover effect, so let's go to the final file for a minute. Here, in order to create these borders, we'll be using the pseudo element. So let's first create the border on the top and the left using the before pseudo element. So I'll go to my CSS file. Here at the bottom, let me make some space, and I'll say UL space A double colon before. Now let's set its content to nothing. Let's position it absolutely. Let's position it at a distance of 0 from the top and 0 from the left. We'll give it a width of 20 pixel, a height of 20 pixel, and we'll give a border to the top of 3 pixels solid white. We'll also add a border on the left of 3 pixel solid white again. Now if you see here at the top left corner, we have the borders added. Now this is because the before pseudo element has been positioned in relation to the body. So let's position in relation to the anchors. So here I'll say position relative, and now we have the borders right here. And next thing we need to do is add a hover state for the before pseudo element. So let's do that. I'll say UL space A hover double colon before, and on hover we want the width to be 100% and the height to be 100%. Let's check it, and here we have it. Now let's add some transition to the before pseudo element. I'll say transition. We want two properties to be transitioned. First is the width, and we want the duration to be 0.5 seconds. Next, we also want the height to be transitioned, and the duration is going to be the same. Now let's check it, and here we have it. Now let's start styling the borders on the right and the bottom. So we'll be doing that using the after pseudo element. So let's do that. Now instead of adding the styles all over again, I'll simply copy this and I'll paste it right here at the bottom. And there are just a few changes we need to make. We'll change this before to after. This top becomes bottom, left becomes right, and we now need a border on the bottom and a border on the right. And finally let's also change this to after. Now let's check it, and here we have this, but we are facing some problem. There's this border which is extending. So this is happening because the width of the border is being added to the overall width of the pseudo element. So let's come up here and we'll say box sizing border box, and here for the after pseudo element we'll do the same thing. We'll say box sizing border box, and now let's check it, and here we have this simple hover effect, and that was again quite simple. and I hope you liked the video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye.